The LEC is looking more competitive than ever. 4 teams are tied for first with 2 right behind them. G2 pulls off a perfect 3-0 week, taking down Vitality, who was their biggest opponent, and Vitality themselves are actually struggling after going 1-2. Will Fnatic manage to make playoffs now that they pulled together 2 wins? And is this the start of their miracle run? I'm your host, Nikita. With me is Big Money Blivs to bring you all the action.
That is right.
What did you think of this week?
This week was a bit of a mind F you know what, because I don't know what to think coming out of this weekend. I mean, you mentioned that there are 4 teams at 4-2 and 4 teams at 2-4. It's great that there's no team at 0-6 or 1-5. It's fun that there's no team at 5-1 or 6-0. Everyone's bunched up, and
yeah.
To be fair, like, I don't know, when you only have 6 matches, I don't know how competitive everyone is. It's great to see a level of parity throughout the league. And so, look, I know we have a list of things to talk through. I don't know which one you want to start with, but I think you know where I want to start.
Well, kick it off. Take us where you want.
Fnatic's winning the split.
Fnatic's winning the split. Okay, we're coming out with more big money takes here.
Fnatic's is back, baby. This is what we want.
I saw their 2 matches, and I don't know how they beat Koi. You know, Koi played a very interesting match against SK. I thought, whoa, they're locked in now. And then they go and lose to Fnatic. My takeaway is that they're getting better. They're warming up.
Definitely.
ADVN seems to be a very positive influence and has on the morale and the energy of the team, which is great.
Great.
He seems to be playing better with Rekkles. Oscarinen is still an absolute disaster. I said this before. I don't blame the kid. I just think he's the nerves and he's not ready for it because he played too well in Fnatic Team Queso, and he's too good a player to not know how to play a Gangplank. And he had great stats on Gangplank in his previous team. So it's just, I think there's a lot of pressure on him, and I don't think he's fully to be promoted. It is good to see them grab 2 wins because I really thought they might go 0-9.
Yeah, thank God. Look, yeah, I mean, the reality is, of course, Fnatic's not winning the split, but it is fun just to kind of see them be back in the middle. You know, last split, or, you know, in the winter, they won 2 games and then lost the preceding 7, so they haven't beat their record from last season.
They're not worse.
They're not worse, but they're not better yet, and so...
Exactly. And I'm not sure they are going to be better because they have a pretty tough week ahead of them.
Well, exactly.
And you know what? Their loss to XL in week 1, and this is what I love about this format, because yes, you're right, it's only 6 games, but every match matters. So you've got to focus, you've got to come prepared for every single match, and that one game might be the game that costs them playoffs. So at the moment, you know, you talked about parity. The league is so competitive at the moment, and it's been great to see because you have SK and Astralis, who obviously made it to top 4 last split. It seems like the experience, and BDS, the experience of the last split has really paid off for them, and they've all taken a step up, which has been really good to see. 4 of them are now tied for first place: SK, BDS, G2, and Vitality, with Astralis and Koi right behind them. So we have this like block of veteran teams. We have veteran teams that are looking good, and at least sitting in the top bracket. And then we have these, what I would term as younger teams, traditionally the non-competitive teams doing really well. And I think that's really good to see. There are some concerns about Mad Lions, obviously, being down there 2-4.
Some serious concerns.
But at the same time, like, I don't know that XL has improved that much. Just an update on their roster. Vitheo has taken a step back. He has been struggling with depression since winter, and he has talked about how basically he doesn't know how to deal with it without winning, and every loss is compounding it, and then every loss makes him play worse, which is so he's caught in this spiral of playing worse.
Well, can we go back, because you kind of glossed over 3 teams that I desperately want to talk about, and maybe it's all wrapped up into who's your favorite team right now, who's the best team. Sure. I mean, Team BDS is electric. They should have lost 9 ways till Sunday, their match against Astralis. How Astralis blew that, in a team that we're claiming is better, we're claiming has the experience, we're claiming to be like a bit more put together. But if you're Astralis, how the fuck do you lose that BDS game? Like, the game was over, and then they just threw, right? You give up some Barons. Like, it was... I mean, this is just where like though a team like BDS, they can kill you at any moment. It doesn't matter if they're behind, and they will figure out a way to scratch and claw through kills their ways back into every match.
But
it is
that's
so
the
fun
way
to
they've
watch.
always been.
I know. I don't know how you let it happen. I don't know how you let it happen.
Yeah, but you're kind of also you're focusing on the one match that they won that they should have lost, and not focusing on the match that they should have won and they lost against G2.
But that's G2. I mean, that is
No,
quintessential G2. G2 always loves to
but
kind
it's
of
just-
like play possum and then they still win.
Sure, but it's still the same thing in that the problem with BDS, and I think this is ultimately why I think Astralis is, it seems like the better team across the series. They make less mistakes.
Sure.
And BDS does not, we were talking about it about the last split, are they going to learn from that? Because they should have won then as well. They lost 2-1.
Totally.
And they should have won that series.
They
And why'd they lose it? Because there was one game 100%
G2.
they should have won, and they couldn't stop pushing, and they threw away the lead. So this is the thing about BDS, until they learn. And I think the bigger question, even if it's not an Astralis, any of the better teams or the more experienced teams will know how to pull them apart. Yeah. They'll wait for that mistake, and then they'll turn on a dime. And I think G2 is a perfect example of that. They had a 3-0 week, and in their match against BDS, it was really interesting because they were behind. They were struggling. Not struggling, but they were behind. And BDS made a few mistakes here and there, and then suddenly, that's it. G2 turned it on a dime. They have the lead. And, I think it's been interesting to see their evolution. You would think they'd be resting on their laurels, but no, Yike seems to be doing better than ever. He's playing a lot more carry junglers rather than the more tanky ones, farming ones he was playing before. They just and what I find really important is that G2 is playing their own style. They're really trying to figure out what champs work for them, really trying to figure out how to carry through different lanes, what style works the best for them. And that, I think, is the key to international success. Because if you're just going to play the NA style or slow EU style, you'll hit a T1, you'll hit an LPL team, and you won't be able to compete against them. You need to know how to play, how to turn 100%. Things around, how to play from behind and from ahead. And so it makes me very excited for MSI.
All great points. I have one little correction for you. G2 only went 2-1 this past weekend. They were not 3-0.
Oh yes, you're right.
They lost
That's
to
disappointing.
Yeah, they lost to Koi.
Yes, I know.
Fucking
I got
koi
myself all
fish.
excited.
A fucking dead fish, a floppy fish that's losing to fucking Fnatic. And I don't know. I think that's another team that we should talk about. Like they're 3-3, and I don't know what to make of them. They lose to Mad Lions, they lose to Fanatics, and then they turn around, and they beat G2. It's like, what team are we getting here with these guys? This Koi team is perplexing the hell out of me.
I think we talked a bit about it in our Discord, and if you want to join the Discord, there's a link down below. But we're talking about it in that, as a fan of Rogue/Koi, they have the potential. We know their ceiling is so high. They are potentially such a good team. But if they just seem to have moments of genius and then moments of just complete
despair.
There's a reason why Koi came third. There's a reason why Koi has perennially come as Rogue second constantly and then finally won. They are a consistently great team who just seem to not be able to finish off the mark. And
I don't consider that greatness. And that's where you and I, this is where America, if you're not first, you're last. You as
but that's stupid.
Cultured,
because if you're consistently, if you have the most highest average record across longevity, that is a form of talent and greatness. You can't deny. How do you deny? Like, if you have a batter who is incredibly, I know you like baseball, but if he is incredibly consistent, I know nothing about baseball science. This is a terrible analogy for me. But okay,
go to a sport you do know. There you go, basketball.
Okay, it's 3-pointer. If you have someone who is not Steph Curry, it doesn't have to be that level, but who is, if you get the ball in his hands, he's going to hit a 3-pointer every single time. That is greatness. Doesn't miss. Have an absurd 3-point shooting rate.
But when it comes to the championship game and then he starts missing, you're like, huh. Are you
That's
great?
a fair thing. That's a fair thing. But if you make the finals 6 years in a row, you are pretty
You're a
great.
good team, but you're not great.
Well, you're better than every other team except for one.
True.
So,
Um, in other news, and I think this is
In
the
other
last
news.
thing that we have to talk about, unless you have something else. What's going on with this Vitality team?
Oh, again, shout out to Discord. Find the link down below. Chatting about this. There's a point in time when they would crumble. They crumbled. They matched up against a better G2 team who just came in very focused. It was a really good match. And
good.
there was a lot of back and forth there. So I really enjoyed that because I think it showed that, hey, these two teams, last split, as entertaining as it was, I did feel like G2 was just so far ahead of everyone else. Looks like Vitality is there. The Astralis game was just... Kobe had... No, this is the game that I was thinking about with Vitality. Kobe had something like 5 or 6 kills in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Game's over. Like, literally, within, you look at
Just
the
fed.
10-minute mark or something like that, and that was the 11-minute mark, and they had a 3,700 gold lead. So, it was done. That was it. Astralis played really well, but also there's an element of luck where 113 and a couple of the guys on the other side were getting away on slivers of health.
But that's where the by the way, that's where the gold that's where the early gold helps. You get the additional health, and that's what really
a little
matters.
bit more.
Yep.
They have a little bit less of an item. You have a little bit more of an item. 100%. It is that.
That's what gold's for.
Photon played that series out of his mind.
Yep.
The thing that really stood out to me, and I'll be interested to see kind of like what you think, is that like Bo seems to really be the key to Vitality. So if he's allowed to dictate the pace of the game, he is incredible at creating leads, seeing where you can snowball, and finding advantages. But if he's on the back foot, I feel like the whole team struggles a little bit. And 113 kind of got the advantage of invading in the jungle early, and then read him well on the bottom lane, who already got their solo kills. Vitality seemed to not be able to recover from that.
Sorry, I'm blanking. Which champion was he on in that game? Because I do think sometimes a lot of that becomes champion.
He was on Vi.
Vi, okay.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because Vi is a always go in. Like,
correct.
There's not really much of a nuance to her.
And so I think, especially once you start, like, I know when I've played, right? Like, if you're all of a sudden on the wrong champion and you're just kind of getting picked apart, you're just like, I can't escape this thing, right? And then to your point, it snowballs on itself. And so I think for Vi in that case, maybe Bo wasn't as comfortable with the matchup, and so it just ended up rewarding 3-1-1 in that case.
113.
So sorry, 113. Jesus, it's like dyslexia, right?
Yeah. There was that. He just kind of put a bit of pressure on him, setting him off, and then they got the bot lane.
Well, and to your point, it's snowballs. Yeah.
But look, it was an entertaining game because it was also good to see Vitality play from behind. And I was impressed by Upset. Felt like Upset played well from behind. Photon was playing... He nearly won them the game at certain points.
I mean, can we say he's the best top laner, I think, in the league?
Yeah.
I mean...
I think so. I don't see anyone else being better than him.
Other than my beloved Adam. Look, I agree, though. Photon's fantastic. This is a team... Look, they were there... they had a disappointing finish in the winter. I think that they learned... I expect this to, G2's already wrapped up MSI, so I'm not sure G2's going to be, look, everyone always wants to win, but I'm not sure they're going to have the desire as much as maybe like some of the teams that are trying to be a bit more scrappy and try some stuff. I would look to, this would be the split, and as great as we were talking about G2 being, this would be the split that I think perhaps G2 doesn't finish in first or even second, right? I could see a final kind of between Vitality and BDS. I could see. Astralis, to your point, has been playing really well. I'm really excited to see how this kind of plays out, but not to tip my hand too much, but maybe not in week 3 here coming up, best of ones. But when we go into best of 3s and best of 5s, I'm gonna be fading G2 a little bit.
You're always trying to fade G2.
Is kind of
historically. Let's be honest here. You've always faded G2, and it has not really historically worked out for you. But I think that's a perfect segue towards
you can try and fade
matches.
Tom Brady. Yeah, you fade
exactly.
Tom Brady. See how that works out for you.
Let's look at the matches. So,
Do it.
talking about some of these, there was a couple of, this is actually, last week was a great week for betting. And I think this week, again, is there's some really good lines here. And it kicks off with the Heretics versus Astralis. Heretics at 2.1, Astralis up 1.75.
I just want to pause there.
Insane.
Insane. I'm ready, like the 5-unit max bet.
Yeah.
All of
On
it
Astralis.
on this Astralis.
Yes.
Unquestionably. I have no clue. Have they been watching how bad Heretics are? They're the worst team in the league, in my opinion.
With, by the way,
is a good
the
team.
best jungler in the league. I think he needs MVP. I know. It's crazy to give it to him.
He's not going to get it.
He's not going to get it. He is first, by the way, across all stats. He is phenomenal.
I know how much you love Yankos, but he's not getting MVP.
Yeah, I'm going to put together a little video on him, just a little, because his performance split is insane. But yeah, 1.75 for Astralis over Heretics, it's like easy money. Definitely taking that one.
5-unit max bet.
Yeah. I know you're going to, I'm willing to make a bet that you want to talk about the BDS line over Vitality.
I don't want to yet. What I wanted to say is, also, if you pair that with a Koi over XL, you just mentioned about XL and them, not going to have their full strength, you can parlay those two at 2.56.
I don't love that because Abadag is coming in. So there's a honeymoon phase, which you love. And the other thing is I feel like betting on, I lost a fat stack 3.5 units on Koi losing to Fnatic because it's Fnatic. They're the worst team in the league. Yeah. How do you, after beating G2 and then beating SK, how do you lose to Fnatic? Well, apparently Koi does. So it 100%. My concern here is 100%.
Fair.
This
don't
could
trust
happen
Koi.
again.
Don't
I
trust
trust
Koi.
Koi.
Okay. Is there?
I'm
not putting Vitality in this parlay. I'm just trying to see what other.
I'm not putting anyone else in this parlay.
How do we feel about G2 over SK?
Yes, but it's just too low odds, and I mean, yeah.
You put G2 with it, and now you got 2.43.
2.5. Yeah, 2.43. Yeah, you could. I guess that's okay. You do a multi-day parlay. That's like potentially what it is.
Ooh. Well, all I'm saying is 1.75 straight up. Put 1 million units on that, but then also look to pair it with a nice little parlay to get not 1 million, but like 500,000 to get another guaranteed increase.
Yeah, love it.
Yes, BDS over Vitality, no brainer. 2.81. Put 2 units on that too. BDS can beat anyone on any given match. This is a team that I have the utmost confidence in, and when you see them having that kind of extreme odds, too much value there on a team that's too good. Okay,
I like it. I don't really have anything to add there. I think they can win, they can lose. The odds are good. So, if Vitality also, if they, maybe Vitality is on a bit of a downward trend here. So I think that's a good one. I kind of want to highlight the Fnatic line over Mad Lions. Not because I really like it, but it's 2.75. They've just won 2 games. Mad Lions is right there down there with them at 2-4 in records. So it's very generous odds for
a best of
teams.
1. Absolutely.
I still think Mad Lions is a better one, but who knows?
Too. I agree, but the line's tasty. And then SK. I mean, we haven't really talked a whole lot about it on SK, but SK right now is tied for first place.
Yeah.
And they are getting 3.07 against G2. And again, I'm not saying that G2 isn't the better team. G2's the better team. However, this is an SK team.
G2 has also lost 2 games and put 100% and lost to Koi last week.
Koi.
And SK is a better team than Koi, so there is no reason why.
I'm not going to say that the odds aren't a little bit justified, right? I mean, SK beat Astralis, good win, but then it's XL, Fnatic, and BDS, great win. But their 2 losses are to Vitality and Koi. So, against teams that are better, they've lost so far. You know what that means? It means it's time to flip that fucking script. Put a fucking unit on SK to beat
I mean,
G2.
that is also what happened last split. They
100%.
finished 4th, and they couldn't beat Koi, couldn't beat Mad Lions, couldn't beat G2. So, we'll see. So, that wraps up day 1. Already just banging
every match.
I know. Day 2, continued on with this, Astralis at 1.76 over Excel at 2.08. So I'm like, again, Excel is doo-doo, and I think Astralis is great. So
now Astralis isn't as... I'm now, because of what you just said about bringing in Abbedagge and the honeymoon phase, I'm writing off every Excel game this weekend. Okay, I completely agree with you. I love Astralis. I love that value on Astralis, especially because, as you said, Excel's doo-doo. However, I'm nervous. I'm not touching Excel.
The one I will touch is SK over Mad Lions. Now, I think this is one that's a good one to kind of look at the previous match, because how does Mad Lions do against Fnatic? How do SK do against G2? If SK continues just playing really well, I think they're just a better team than Mad Lions. And I'm not going to put too much stock if SK loses to G2. It's more how they lose. You can get SK at 2.08, Mad Lions at 1.76. If you really believe that Mad Lions are going to turn everything around, it's good on them. Otherwise, I would take the SK line.
Completely agree. Have nothing to add. All I would do is add on BDS beating Koi at 2.2 fucking 6.
That's great. It's really good. It's great.
Are these bookmakers watching the same games we're watching?
I know.
I hate to be the guy who's just trying to go and find immense value on underdogs, but like these teams, this is just egregious that some of the best teams are being given underdog odds. So we're here to profit from it. Thank you.
Yeah, and this happens every so often. When it happens, you've got to jump on it. So
agreed.
That's that. The Fnatic G2 and the Vitality Heretics, not particularly interested in those because whatever, odds aren't great. Day 3, Fnatic Astralis. Again, Astralis 1.75 over Fnatic's 2.0. So
give me an Astralis 3-0 weekend.
Yeah.
5.44.
Love that. I think that's actually great.
I mean,
and they have a pretty
Heretics,
easy week.
XL and Fnatic.
It's completely viable.
And by the way, if they do go 3-0, which we'd love, a 6-3 record is looking pretty tasty. That's going to be
very good.
That's going to be maybe first, maybe second.
Yeah. It puts them in a really good spot. So
great spot.
That's great.
If you're Astralis going into this week, you've got to be thinking, we've already played the toughest teams. We are 3-3. Let's freaking close the door and let's finish this split off strong and make our road to the 2 MSI possible. And also, let's win BMB 5.44 odds. Come on, boys.
Exactly. Do it that way. Final match of the day for me is the one that I want to talk about. Is Vitality versus Koi. 1.64 on Vitality. Koi at 2.17. I just think Vitality's going to come. They want to lock in a good spot. They're not going to be willing to. Now they picked up Upset. There's no way these players are okay not coming into groups strong and then getting ready for playoffs. So I think they want to win, and they want to win hard. They lost their 2 games. Now it's time to focus up.
I will not be touching Koi.
Okay. Now I did a little parlay because you set me off there. So Astralis over Heretics.
Yep.
G2 over SK.
Yep.
SK over Mad Lions. Vitality over Heretics. BDS over XL. SK over Heretics. Astralis over Fnatic. 27 odds.
That's guaranteed. Since we're at that part of this episode.
Yep.
The Astralis 3-0.
Yes.
Mix in the SK.
Sure. Upset.
Mix in G2 beating Fnatic. Lock. Mix in G2 beating Mad Lions. Lock. And then mix in Vitality beating Koi. Lock. 34.48.
100%. Okay, I love that. I think that is the way to end it. So if you love this episode, please give us a thumbs up. It helps out a lot. Subscribe if you've been tuning in, or even if this is the first time, if you made it to the end. We appreciate it.
A lot. We appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, we do. And, we wish you all the best of luck. Come chat, tell us if you win and lose in the Discord. And that's about it. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye.
Toodaloo.